Welcome back to another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons. Today I'm answering more of your questions in a segment of Ask Judy. If you have a question you'd like me to take up, just put it in any of the comments on any of the episodes, because I read those comments and pull various different questions from there. This question from David Van Dresser, who said, I'm interested to know if you had any normal experience as a kid, like riding a bike, going to the mall with friends, going to prom. I did. When I wasn't filming, a lot of my life was very normal. I did ride a bike. Eric and I, sometimes when we weren't filming, we would ride. He lived on the other side of the other part of town, across the valley from where I lived. So we'd ride our bikes, meet someplace in the middle, hang out. But yeah, I went bike riding with friends. I went to the mall with my girlfriends. I did go to a prom. It wasn't my prom. It's kind of a sweet story. Mary McDonough had invited me at one point. I was, I guess, 15 or something. And her brother's school was doing their school production of Camelot, and she asked me if I wanted to go. So I had not really been to a big, an actual musical before. So I went. I had done, I did musicals as a child, with little revival, little recital type things, and did a production of Cinderella on weekends for a year as a child with a children's theater company. And then I worked with a repertory theater company. So I was familiar with theater, but I didn't know Camelot. I hadn't been to see it. So I went to this production at 15, and I was just mesmerized. I thought this was great. It began my love of musical theater and my desire to do musicals, and prompted me to start studying singing because I wanted to do that. But I sat in this theater at the school, and for a high school production, I was really impressed. And I developed this huge crush on the boy playing Lancelot. And so my mom had always loved musicals, and she had the score, the show album, the cast album of the Broadway production of Camelot. And so I started playing her recording all the time around the house. And a couple of weeks later, Mary came to me at work, and she goes, that boy who played Lancelot? And I was like, yeah, like trying to be super cool. And she said, well, he wanted to know if you might go to his senior prom with him. And I was like floored because I hadn't actually met him. So I have no idea how that came about, but I was like, of course, yes. So we went out once before that to a concert, and then he officially asked me to go to the prom. And so I went to his senior prom with him. And my mom helped me make my dress for the prom. And, I had a great time. I never got to go to my prom. I was interested in going. I might have gone, but I was at work at the studio at that point. And my girlfriend, who was at regular high school that I'd known since junior high, I thought was going to tell me when the prom was going to be. And she never did. And so it happened. And I was like, what do you mean? I was going to go. So I didn't get to go to mine, but I did get to go to one, and it was perfect. And I loved it. So that's my prom story. And then you also asked, did your family stay in one place? Were you able to make long-lasting friends outside of work? I did. I grew up. I lived in the same house since I was fairly young, like 2-3 years old, and then until I moved out on my own. So throughout elementary school and junior high, I made friends that there's one or two that I'm still in touch with. I lost track of a lot of them when I started working. So it wasn't so much moving as just starting to work so young. So I feel it's a bit more that my Walton siblings have become my lifelong friends, and other people have come in and out of my life when I've worked on different shows and things. But I have people from all over that, I'll meet people. You bond very quickly when you're doing theater in particular. So I have people that I did, theater productions with since I started working professionally in theater in, the early 1980s that are still friends and that I'm still in touch with. So I have people all over the country that, when I get a chance to see them, it's always very, it's great. And we just pick up where we left off. So that's kind of my long-term friend story. Continuing in that theme, I had a question from another person who said, what was your childhood like outside of the Waltons? And I mean, most of it was pretty normal. I mean, I lived at home and I did, stuff around the house, and I had hobbies, a lot of sports. So those were kind of normal things to me. I got into riding horses during the Waltons because of a costumer on the show that I became good friends with, and she took me out to a horse show and took me out to meet her horse, and I decided I wanted to learn to ride and jump horses, so I started that at 15. So those hobbies, and then I would get invited to do things that maybe most people don't. We did a lot of parades, the cast did, and got to attend some award shows, which never got old. I always thought those were thrilling, still do. So various celebrity events where we'd go out and make appearances and sign autographs, take pictures. And so things like that. But then because of some of those, I would pick up different sports. Like I got invited to do a celebrity tennis tournament, and I couldn't really play tennis. So I started taking some tennis lessons and got, just competent enough to not make a complete fool of myself. And then kind of continued to play some tennis, and we had a softball team on the Walton, so I enjoyed doing that. That was fun. It was kind of a normal activity in that we were, playing softball, but we got to play against other show teams, which was fun. And then, I played with a radio station, with Kiss Radio. I played on their softball team, and we'd play other teams, not necessarily sometimes other radio stations. I don't even remember who those teams were, but so I got involved in different types of things like that, and was always kind of doing outdoor things. Learned to roller skate because I was asked to do some sort of a promotional thing where I had to be able to roller skate. And so I went and started training with a roller derby team and started doing that just for fun and exercise. I would go to their training sessions. And then, so I picked up different things along the lines like that. So then I ended up doing shows like Battle of the Network Stars or Circus of the Stars, and competitive type things. Got to do an off-road Jeep race, and I got to do a harness race at Hollywood Park. There was 3 celebrities who raced in this harness race. So, there was this juxtaposition between just kind of having a normal life and doing normal things, and then having these amazing opportunities, and then traveling for appearances and stuff. But I always just kind of felt like a normal person. So it was the sort of celebrity aspect of people, wanting autographs and pictures, just always is a little odd, because I just feel like I'm just me. I go to the grocery store, I do my own shopping, all of those types of things. So I've been very fortunate to be able to live a normal life and have the career that I've had. So I'm very appreciative of that. Thank you for joining me for this segment of Ask Judy, and for submitting your various different questions. They always make me think and reflect back on aspects that perhaps haven't crossed my mind. So I will see you next time for another segment of Behind the Scenes of the Waltons, or another segment of Ask Judy. Thanks for watching.